Hello everyone, welcome to Jamal Digital. Today's topic is very important if you are working with regression model. We are going to talk about R square versus adjusted R square, which one you have to use and why. Let us start by talking about the similarity between R square and adjusted R square. As you may know that both R square and adjusted R square are tell you how good your model is. In short, both R square and adjusted R square are important to evaluate to judge the model fits. So by looking into the value of R square or adjusted R square, it is possible in both cases. You can evaluate, you can judge, you can explain the model fit levels in your regression. Because both R square and adjusted R square tells how much percent of your dependent variable is explained by your independent factors or independent variables. And also the other similarity between R square and adjusted R square is both have values between 0 and 1. The value for both R square and adjusted R square is rated between 0 and 1. So both values will not be less than 0 or negative, and also it will not be higher than 1 if only your model is problematic. So the value of both R square and adjusted R square is between 0 and 1. It will be 0 0.5, 0 0.3, 0 0.1, 0 0.00 something, and so on. And other similarity between the R square and adjusted R square is better value or higher values indicates better model fit. A higher value for both R square and adjusted R square indicates better model fits, or your model explains the data well. For example, if the value of R square or adjusted R square is 0.8 or 0.75, it indicates that 75% of your dependent variable explained by your independent factors or independent variables. So the remaining 25% of the dependent variable could be explained by other factors which are not incorporated in your model. So higher value in both R square and adjusted R square indicates better model fit or a good model fit. And both are used to judge model fits. Both R square and adjusted R square used to judge the model fit of your data. That as I told you, as I have said before, higher values indicates good model fits. Lower value indicates a poor model fits in the opposite. So the data with value R square value and adjusted R square value higher than 0.5 as a general rule is considered as a good model fit rather than the data with R square value or adjusted R square value less than 0.5. That means 50% of your dependent variable is explained by your independent variables. For example, if your adjusted R square value or R square value of 0.5 indicates that 50%, at least half of the dependent variable is explained by the independent factors or independent variables. So higher than 50% indicates a better model fit or a good model fit. Now let's talk about the important topic. When you have to use adjusted R square or when you have preferred adjusted R square rather than R square value. There are two important situations in which the researcher should select adjusted R square rather than R square. The first one is if the researcher is comparing between two or different models. If the researcher is comparing models with different independent factors, for example, one model will have 5 independent variables, the other will have 6 independent variables, or even the different equal value, equal independent factors or variables, but different independent factors in the different model. So in this case, when you are comparing between two or more than two models, you have to use adjusted R-square. And also the second situation is when the researcher have multiple independent factors or independent variables. When the researcher have different more than two or more independent variables, still it is recommendable to use adjusted R-square. It is possible to use R-square in this case, but the most preferable and recommendable model or value here is adjusted R-square. Why? Because in short, R-square simply inflates or increase when you add additional independent variable into your model. Either the additional independent variable important to improve the model or not, R-square simply inflates or increase without considering the role of additional independent variable to improve, to enhance your model. So R-square is increasing by adding or increasing additional independent variable into your model. But adjusted R-square is the opposite. As the name adjusted indicates that adjusted R-square considers the importance of additional variable for the improvements of your model. It considers the importance of the additional variable. So adjusted R-square will increase if the additional, only if the additional independent variable is important to improve the model. Otherwise, adjusted R-square will decrease if the additional independent variable has not role for the improvements of your model. So adjusted R-square is important when you have different or multiple independent factors. The reason R-square always increase or at least stays the same when you're adding more variables in the model. Even those variables are not really useful for the improvement of or for the enhancement of your model. So this inflation of adjusted R-square will or can mislead you to think your model is better than just because it is bigger. But it is not because your model is better, but it is because of you have additional or more independent variables. In the opposite, adjusted R-square fix this problem by penalizing the addition of unnecessary variables into your model. When you add unnecessary variable to your model, R-square will increase or it will stay same, but adjusted R-square decrease for the incorporation of additional unnecessary variables to the model, and it increase if your additional variable or the new variable has importance or significance for the improvements of the model. So R-square always increase when you increase adjusted when you add additional independent variable. But adjusted R-square on the other hand can go up if the additional variable have role to improve the model, or go down if the additional independent factors or variable has not role or contribution for the improvement of the model. So use adjusted R-square if you are comparing two model, and if you have multiple independent variable. Use R-square if you have a single independent variable, because you didn't have nothing to adjust in the case of having single independent variable. Thank you.